Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 298 based on novel. So let's start. There was a vast plain in the northern part of the demon spirit land. At this moment, a mysterious change occurred in the sky above the plain. The clouds began to gather from all directions, covered the sky in a sea of clouds. There were whistling sounds coming from the sky in the distance. Then a pillar of light came out from the plain. This pillar seemed to support the sky of the demon spirit land, and a thunderous rumble came from it. As it continued to rise, a large amount of ripples carrying powerful impacts spread out and caused the clouds to retreat. As a result, this pillar of light pierced through the heavens. It turned into rings of light that slowly spread across the sky. The moment the pillar of light appeared, rich celestial spiritual energy spread out and covered almost 30% of the demon spirit land. There were a few ugly, black birds that flew by and were swept by the celestial spiritual energy by coincidence. The black birds' bodies trembled and then large amounts of black gas came out from their bodies and dissipated. After the black gas was gone, the black birds suddenly changed into white cranes. They let out joyful cries and their eyes filled with intelligence as they flew away in a beautiful arc. The demon spirit land was filled with demonic energy, which was the source of energy for the inhabitants to cultivate. At this moment, a shocking scene unfolded in the sky. The demonic energy that filled the demon spirit land collided with the celestial spiritual energy that appeared. There were fierce collisions as, like fire and water, the two wouldn't mix, causing a strange change to occur. However, the demonic energy here was too strong and the celestial spiritual energy from one pillar wasn't enough. It was soon suppressed by the surrounding demonic energy. However, as even more celestial spiritual energy came out from the pillar, it was finally able to cover the surrounding 50 kilometers. There was enough celestial spiritual energy to prevent the demonic energy from suppressing it completely. Everything in the 50 kilometers space was filled with celestial spiritual energy, while the outside was full of demonic energy. A balance was reached where celestial spiritual energy couldn't expand but demonic energy couldn't invade. Just at this moment, Ling Qianhu, the middle-aged man in purple, and the famous Master Void were sitting in the center of the formation in the third cave. Ling Qianhu's eyes opened and shined brightly. Without hesitation, his right hand reached out and a crack appeared. Large amounts of green smoke came out of the crack and the key to the cave slowly appeared. It only took him 7 days to open the fourth cave. I had already overestimated Wang Lin, but it seems I was still looking down on him. I spent nearly 1 month opening the third cave, Ling Qianhu pondered as his right pointed at the black stone at the center of the formation below him. The smoke immediately surrounded the black stone and went inside it. Then the black stone trembled and the formation activated. In western part of the demon spirit land, the land that belonged to the spirit demon country. At this moment, the sky changed colors and a pillar of light shot up into the air. As the pillar of light shot up, waves of impacts began to spread outwards endlessly. The pillar shot into the sky along with a loud rumble. Dense celestial spiritual energy spread out and began another collision with the demonic energy in the demon spirit land. At this moment, the pillars from the north and west seemed to resonate with each other as they flashed violently. Their power increased as they attempted to break the 50-kilometer barrier and expand outward. At the same time, another pillar of light shot into the sky in the south. Even more celestial spiritual energy erupted, and another battle between celestial and demonic energy began. The All-Seer was sitting inside the second cave, looking at the formation with a calm gaze. However, there was a strange, almost indiscernible light that flashed across his eyes. 7 days, the All-Seer silently pondered. It was impossible to tell what he was thinking or feeling. 3 pillars of light appeared one after another in the demon spirit land, attracting the attention of the powerhouses in the demon spirit land. The drastic change in demonic energy caused them to panic. The demon spirit land that hadn't changed for countless years was undergoing an unimaginable change when the 3 pillars of light appeared. The celestial spiritual energy that spread out from the 3 pillars seemed to begin 3 battles against the demonic energy. Aside from the east, the rest of the sky above the demon spirit land was filled with colorful lights. However, there was simply too much demonic energy that had gathered over the countless years. As a result, the celestial spiritual energy of the three pillars wasn't enough to shake the demon spirit land. Inside the first cave, the celestial cloud cultivation pair quietly stood within the large formation. Although Wang Wei looked calm, there was a hint of unsuppressible excitement in his eyes. He took a deep breath and muttered, "This day. The day we waited for has finally arrived." Hu Huan stood beside him, holding Wang Wei's hand, and softly said, "We will succeed this time. We planned for so long, we must succeed this time." Wang Wei nodded. There was a purple shadow behind them. It gave off a fierce aura and vaguely revealed an aura Wang Lin would be very familiar with. The demon spirit land. Who knew that this place used to be called the Celestial Spirit Heaven Realm? Wang Wei let out a sigh and pointed his right hand toward the black stone in the formation. The black stone flashed and the formation activated. The demonic energy is like a poison. Today, let its true form reappear. Wang Wei's eyes shined brightly. A pillar of light shot up straight into the sky in the eastern part of the demon spirit land. Along with it, endless celestial spiritual energy spread out. At this instant the four pillars of light from the east, south, west, and north changed. It was as if they had linked together to form a giant formation. Large amounts of celestial spiritual energy rushed out, and now it was several times stronger than before. It created a storm of celestial spiritual energy that swept across the demon spirit land. As the celestial spiritual energy swept across the dark red land, it was as if a layer of dust was wiped off, revealing the healthy black earth. The various plants sprout new life as the storm swept by. The celestial storm swept through the dense jungle. The monstrous trees in the demonic jungle trembled and all returned to their original forms as towering trees. Even some of the monsters inside the jungle trembled when the celestial spiritual energy storm swept by. At this moment, there was a black tiger with a single horn on its head laying low, and its eyes were shining. It was staring ahead with slobber in the corner of its mouth. Before it stood a group of demonic deer. The deer were purple and were tearing each other apart within any hint of being docile. Just as the black tiger was about to pounce, the celestial spiritual energy storm swept by. It was as if a storm had swept away all the demonic energy. Without the demonic energy, the ground was no longer red and became green once more. The deer that were biting each other all trembled on the ground. The purple of their bodies faded, revealing their original colors, and they gave off a celestial feeling. The black tiger that was going to pounce trembled and let out a roar. The horn on its head shattered and its black fur turned white. It was filled with celestial spiritual energy, and then the fierceness was gone and was replaced with intelligence. As the celestial spiritual energy storm swept by, the demonic jungle changed completely. From a distance, it looked like the celestial realm. Although the river outside the jungle looked clear, it was filled with demonic energy. If one drank it for too long, demonic energy would gather and change their physique. Even the fishes in the river became strange with the invasion of demonic energy. A fish the size of your palm had sharp teeth that could easily tear mortals to pieces. However, the moment the celestial spiritual energy swept by, it was as if a layer of fog had swept by. The river became even more clear and gave off a refreshing feeling. Even the water itself contained a hint of dry sweetness. The fishes inside trembled and changed from their hideous appearances into very colorful appearances. Then the fishes began playing inside the river. If you looked from above, you would clearly see that the entire demon spirit land was changing as the celestial spiritual energy swept by. It was as if the world should be like this, but something that happened countless years ago caused this place to become a demonic land. Now the four pillars of light were releasing celestial spiritual energy that quickly cleansed the demonic energy from this land. The darkness on the ground melted like snow as light replaced it. The demonic energy that filled the place was quickly pushed away. It was as if the demon spirit land had been covered in a veil of demonic energy and now it was mercilessly removed, exposing its true form. All the cities and tribes of the demon spirit land were swept by this demonic energy. Every single person's face was filled with pain as they fell down, unable to stand still. Demonic energy came out of their bodies and was dissipated by the celestial spiritual energy. All the demonic energy that had been stored up for years was now all gone. Now that they had regained consciousness, there was no longer any demonic energy left inside their bodies. Instead, it was replaced with a refreshing feeling and confusion. As the four pillars continued to release celestial spiritual energy, it slowly filled the world. As it swept across the land, even the sky brightened up. All the demonic energy seemed to dissipate under this rich celestial spiritual energy. From a distance, it was filled with green mountains and clear rives. The cranes flew in the air and the cries of spirit beasts were heard. There were no longer any demonic beasts left. Celestial spirit heaven realm. However, there were still a few places where the demonic energy lingered in the restored celestial spirit heaven realm. No matter how much celestial spiritual energy rushed into the area, the demonic energy wouldn't move. In a valley in the celestial spirit heaven realm, there was a pool of water. A demonic face appeared in the pool. He looked at the celestial spiritual energy that had swept by, and his eyes released a demonic glow. Qinglin planned this well. I didn't expect such a big change to occur when the cave was opened. If I hadn't absorbed the other ancient demon spirit, I would have been completely suppressed right now. However, none of this matters now. Even if the demon spirit land returns back to what it was, it doesn't matter. Now that the cave is open, I'll succeed this time. Ancient Devil, Celestial Emperor, I, Bei Lu am coming. The ancient demon revealed a ferocious expression as he rushed out of the pool of water in a ray of demonic light. The celestial spiritual energy swept by him, but when it got close to him, it was absorbed by the demonic light around him and increased his demonic energy. In the underground cavern under a demon country in the celestial spirit heaven realm, Yao Shishue raised her head the moment the celestial spiritual energy swept by. The moment she felt the celestial spiritual energy, her body trembled. Then her eyes released a ghostly glow and a powerful demonic energy surrounded her. The demonic energy formed a large vortex that absorbed all the celestial spiritual energy around her. The celestial spiritual energy was crushed and absorbed. Yao Shishue's body flickered and disappeared. When she reappeared, she was floating in the air. Her entire body gave off a powerful demonic aura that covered up her appearance, but her cold aura was still strong. After pausing for a moment, she turned into a ray of demonic light and charged ahead. There was another place that was spared from the celestial spiritual energy. That was the fire demon country, where the soul refining sect was. The celestial spiritual energy flew by the statue of Wang Lin within the depths of the soul refining sect. The celestial spiritual energy tried to dissipate the demonic energy inside, but a sharp cry came out from within the statue. The moment the celestial spiritual energy arrived, the millions of soul refining sect disciples felt the anxiety within the cry. Without anyone taking charge, almost all of the disciples took out their soul flags. Countless soul fragments appeared and formed a protective layer around the stone statue. The entire capital of the soul refining sect was surrounded by countless soul fragments that whistled to confront the celestial spiritual energy. However, the celestial spiritual energy was too powerful, and the soul refining sect was like a lonely boat floating among angry waves. The millions of soul refining sect disciples were filled with fear, but they clenched their teeth and held on. Just at this moment, a portion of the celestial spiritual energy changed as if it had its own will. Not only did it not attack, it formed a vortex to help the soul refining sect resist the other three portions of celestial spiritual energy. The three portions of celestial spiritual energy didn't attack by force and instead went around. The vortex around the soul refining sect quickly stopped and fused back with the other three to sweep across the world. When the celestial spiritual energy filled the celestial spirit heaven realm, the four pillars shined brightly, causing the land to be enveloped in light. The four pillars of light were connected by the light as if a layer of protection was woven above the celestial spirit heaven realm. The celestial spirit heaven realm of the past activated its own protection formation once more. At this instant, as the light filled the sky and the protection formation was reactivated, a big change occurred in the center of the celestial spirit heaven realm. There was an endless mountain range in the center of the four pillars. The earth shook, large amounts of the mountain fell off, and dust flew into the air. From a distance, everything was covered by dust. Purple light came from one of the mountains that were collapsing, revealing a purple dragon. The purple dragon let out a roar and the remaining mountains crumbled. The purple dragon rose into the air and let out a heaven-shaking dragon roar. This dragon was extremely dignified and revealed an extremely cold gaze. After it appeared, another mountain range collapsed and a second purple dragon appeared. Then more mountains collapsed and other purple dragons appeared one by one. In the end, there were 9 purple dragons in the sky, and they let out a dragon roar that seemed to last forever. These 9 purple dragons intersected with each other, and as the purple light flashed, they formed a formation. The moment this formation was formed, the celestial spiritual energy within the area exploded greatly. The 9-dragon formation floated in the air and flashed a violet glow. It could even be seen from a distance, and it gave off a purple glow. The sky outside the formation twisted and then 3 people walked out. They were Ling Qianhu, the middle-aged man in purple, and between them was Master Void. He opened his eyes and they shined brightly. Shortly after the 3 of them appeared, the space before them twisted and another person walked out. The moment this person appeared, Ling Qianhu's eyes became fierce. Master Void also raised his head to look at the All-Seer. The All-Seer's expression was normal as he looked at Master Void and calmly said, "All-Seer greets fellow cultivator Void." Master Void faintly smiled and nodded. Ling Qianhu invited me, so this old man came to see. The All-Seer looked at the 9-dragon formation and calmly said, "I wasn't confident with just my strength, but since fellow cultivator Void is here, there should be no problem with this trip." As the two spoke, 2 different distortions in space appeared on the opposite sides of the formation. It was the celestial cloud cultivation couple and Wang Lin. An illusionary figure followed the celestial cloud cultivation couple. Behind Wang Lin was Sichu Nan, Master Hollow Wind, and company. When the 2 sides appeared, they began to gauge the other. The moment Wang Lin appeared, the figure behind Wang Wei trembled as he carefully looked at Wang Lin. His eyes revealed regret and gratification. Wang Lin's gaze landed on the celestial cloud cultivation couple. He had seen them before, but he didn't know them. However, he immediately recognized the shadow behind them as Ju Yi. Wang Wei looked at Wang Lin with interest and smiled. "You're Wang Lin, the one who took the key to the 4th cave." Wang Lin's expression was calm, but his eyes were filled with caution. He couldn't see through the cultivation of his man before him, and the woman beside this man also had a cultivation he couldn't see through. Celestial Cloud Cultivation Couple. Wang Lin once heard about this cultivation couple formed Yao Shishue. After they took control of a cave, they never left. These 2 had to be that cultivation couple. Wang Lin calmly said, "I am." Hu Huan, who was next to Wang Wei, smiled at Wang Wei. "You lost our bet from back then." Wang Wei smiled and nodded, then he smiled at Wang Lin. "Was the restriction at the entrance to the Tide Abyss at the Fire Demon country placed by you?" As Wang Wei spoke, he waved his hand and a blade of grass appeared. The moment Wang Lin saw the grass, he recognized it as a restriction he had placed back then. His expression didn't change and he nodded. "The younger generation will surpass us in time. When I was your age, I wasn't able to place such intricate restrictions." Wang Wei let out a sigh and his eyes filled with admiration. "Senior is exaggerating." As Wang Lin spoke, his gaze seemed to casually sweep by the shadow behind Wang Wei. The moment Wang Lin's gaze swept by, Ju Yi's eyes flashed faintly. Wang Lin immediately understood. Just at this moment, several rays of light came from the distance. The one in front was the beautiful middle-aged woman. Behind her were her 4 disciples, including Qian Qin and the one that could be the next brilliant Void Saintress. The beautiful woman arrived and looked around. First she greeted the All-Seer, then she carefully looked at the celestial cloud cultivation couple, and then gave a friendly nod toward Wang Lin. Finally, she arrived next to Master Void. The All-Seer's expression was normal, but he frowned. 2 old men arrived after the beautiful woman. It was the old man sitting on the good and the man in black. The old man on the good looked at everyone. When he saw the celestial cloud cultivation couple, his pupils shrank, and after pondering for a moment, he arrived next to the All-Seer. As for the man in black, he didn't speak and stood next to Wang Lin and company. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he looked at the man in black. Wang Lin hadn't even talked to this person once, but he vaguely felt that this person had a cold and arrogant personality and that he didn't like to be close to people. The man in black looked at Wang Lin and spoke for the first time. "Take me in." Wang Lin pondered for a bit and nodded. The 9-dragon formation slowly rotated under the purple light. However, at this moment, a powerful demonic flame charged toward here. In an instant, the demonic flame arrived and turned into a human figure. However, it was surrounded by demonic energy, making it impossible to clearly see the person's face. It was even impossible to tell if they were male or female. However, the moment this figure appeared, Wang Lin suddenly looked over. At this moment, the demonic figure also looked at Wang Lin. Its eyes revealed a powerful sense of hatred, and this person gazed straight at Wang Lin like a sword. However, this person suddenly withdrew their gaze and stood next to the All-Seer. The All-Seer was neutral as he nodded. However, his gaze fell in the distance, and this time there was a hint of anticipation in his eyes. A bold young man in red slowly walked in from the distance. He was very handsome and revealed a demonic sense of beauty. His head was completely smooth without a strand of hair. There was celestial spiritual energy surrounding him. He first looked at Wang Lin and smiled. "Little brother Wang, I came late." "Bei Lu," Wang Lin's expression was calm as he nodded. "You're not late, this is a good time." The appearance of the bald-headed young man caused Master Void's pupils to shrink. There was a flash of coldness in the eyes of the celestial cloud cultivation couple. Only the All-Seer gradually revealed a smile. The 9-dragon formation activated and celestial spiritual energy filled the area. As the 9 purple dragons moved and roared, there was an intense flash of purple light that covered the surrounding 50-kilometer area. The light quickly passed, and everyone's figures disappeared. The 5th cave had opened. No one knew that what the 5th cave in the celestial spirit heaven realm where celestial Lord Qinglin was looked like, not even its size. Only Qinglin was allowed to enter back then. No outsiders were allowed, and any offenders were killed. Even Qing Shuang had never taken half a step inside here. This 5th cave was Qinglin's absolute secret. At this moment, as the purple light dissipated, everyone disappeared without a trace. Wang Lin felt as if his body was shattered into countless pieces by the purple light. This feeling was very strange, but he felt no pain. It felt as if it had lasted forever, but in reality, it only lasted an instant. Wang Lin appeared in an unfamiliar place. This place was covered in black sand, and it was impossible to see the end of the horizon. Wind that moved the sand like a tornado blew by. Even the sky was dim, as if there was a grey shroud above the sky. If one looked up for too long, they would feel oppressed. Wang Lin looked at the sky as he stood in the black sand, his expression gloomy. His divine sense had already spread out, but his divine sense, which could easily cover the entire demon spirit land, couldn't find the edge of this space. Wang Lin was the only person inside his divine sense range. It seemed that everyone that had entered was scattered, and it would be very difficult to meet each other. While pondering, Wang Lin floated into the air. However, after he only floated 100 feet, his expression changed and he felt a sense of crisis descend from above. He landed without hesitation and a ray of blue light shot out from his right eye and turned into the airshow light shield. Just as the airshow light shield appeared, grey gas descended from the sky. It was so fast that it immediately touched the airshow light shield. There was a bang and then Wang Lin retreated more than 100 feet before he stopped. A cold glint flashed in Wang Lin's eyes. He then formed a fist and threw a punch without hesitation. The ancient god shadow appeared behind him, and his fist contained the power of an ancient god. This fist collided with the grey gas and made the grey gas collapse. However, not only did the collapse of the grey gas not let Wang Lin relax, it caused his pupils to shrink, and he quickly retreated. The collapsed grey gas didn't dissipate but turned into 10 strands of even more powerful grey gas that shot at Wang Lin from 10 different directions. The rumbles continued when Wang Lin was forced to retreat, and the grey gas moved even faster, chasing him. Although it was all blocked by the shield, the impact still caused Wang Lin's body to tremble. He retreated for more than 10,000 feet. When he saw the grey gas attack once more, Wang Lin spat out a mouthful of essence origin energy at it. When they collided, Wang Lin's hand formed a fist and he threw a punch. The scene that made Wang Lin gasp occurred once more as the rumbles continued. The more than 10 strands of grey gas collapsed, but they turned into more 100 strands that charged at Wang Lin. What the hell is this? Wang Lin's scalp felt numb. He didn't suffer much backlash during the first punch, but the backlash on the second punch was huge. His hands were still sore from the punch. Although the pain soon disappeared, Wang Lin didn't dare to throw a third punch. As he rapidly retreated, the airshore light shield surrounded Wang Lin, resisting the attacks of the grey gas. Wang Lin's figure moved like a line across this desert of black sand as he retreated from the pursuit of the grey gas. Wang Lin's movement drew a long line in the desert. Teleportation had no use here, and Wang Lin even tried to use spatial bending. Although he could use it, no matter what he did, he could only move 1 inch. I have just entered, but I've already encountered such a strange thing. Wang Lin revealed a wry smile. Seeing how the grey gas was relentless in its pursuit, killing intent flashed in his eyes. His right hand formed a seal and then Wang Lin suddenly turned around and shouted, "Call the wind." Since his physical force couldn't destroy the gas, Wang Lin chose a celestial spell. After he spoke, dense, black wind appeared in this dim world and then 4 black dragons appeared. However, just as the 4 black dragons appeared, the sky changed as if it was the raging sea. From a distance, countless strands of grey gas appeared in the sky. The grey gas linked together to form a whirlwind that swept the area. Wang Lin was stunned as the 4 black dragons from Call the Wind were swept away. Wang Lin felt his scalp tingle and escaped once more. The grey whirlwind behind him became larger and larger as it absorbed more grey gas. In the end, it was over 10,000 feet wide as it chased after Wang Lin. While Wang Lin escaped, he could feel the suction force from behind him. What shocked Wang Lin was that wherever the whirlwind passed, black gas would appear and be absorbed by it. As a result, the whirlwind grew larger and larger as it chased him. What exactly is this? Clenching his teeth, the ancient god furnace appeared around Wang Lin. His ancient god power entered the furnace, causing him to immediately disappear. When he reappeared, he was 1,000 feet away. Although it was only 1,000 feet, it gave Wang Lin determination. The whirlwind only took a second to cross 1,000 feet. Even if he used all of his ancient god power on the furnace to escape, it still wouldn't be enough. If he wanted to truly escape, he had to make the whirlwind stop. Even if it was just for a second, it would give Wang Lin a glimmer of hope. He jerked his head back and touched his bag of holding. More than a dozen swords flew out of his bag. The moment these swords flew out, they formed a sword formation and charged at the incoming whirlwind. There was no time to feel heartache right now. As the dozen or so swords closed in on the whirlwind, Wang Lin shouted, "Swords, explode!" As he shouted, one of the large swords gave off a destructive aura and exploded into countless fragments that shot at the whirlwind. At the same time, the remaining big swords all exploded like this. The countless fragments swept through the whirlwind, causing it to pause for a moment. While he felt heartache for the swords, the ancient god furnace flashed. He disappeared and reappeared more than 1,000 feet away. After he appeared, the ancient god furnace flashed once more. After flashing 9 times in a row, Wang Lin appeared almost 10,000 feet away, but he didn't relax. The whirlwind paused for a moment and continued to chase after him. Wang Lin had a bitter expression as he clenched his teeth and his right hand reached out. A crack appeared before him, and as his right hand reached out, the illusion of the god-slaying spear appeared. Holding the god-slaying spear, Wang Lin threw it. This spear immediately closed in on the whirlwind and went through it. The destructive aura erupted and exploded forth as if the heavens and earth were shaking. The whirlwind collapsed. Taking this chance, Wang Lin used the ancient god furnace once more. He used it dozens of times at once. However, his expression immediately turned pale at the scene behind him. The whirlwind that collapsed was the same as the grey gas. It turned into dozens more whirlwinds of the same size and chased after Wang Lin. No matter what he tried, he couldn't make the whirlwind disappear. The more he attacked, the more whirlwinds appeared. This was the first time Wang Lin had encountered something like this. With his cultivation, he naturally saw that none of the whirlwinds were fake and were all real. I can't scatter it, use treasures, or cast spells. Once this whirlwind shatters again, it will turn into hundreds. How will I dodge it then? The whirlwinds got closer and closer and continued to absorb the grey gas that appeared, making it stronger. Wang Lin knew that even with the ancient god furnace, he could only keep this up for a short period of time. Soon, the whirlwinds would close in. Since I can't dodge them, I must resist them. Wang Lin simply stopped. He couldn't give the whirlwinds more time to power up. The moment he stopped, his ancient god power filled his body and his body expanded greatly. The true body of an ancient god appeared once more. This body that was thousands of feet tall seemed to be able to support the world. The 5 ancient god stars rotated rapidly as the 10 whirlwinds closed in. Wang Lin let out a roar that shook the world. He no longer escaped. As he walked forward, the ancient god furnace flashed and he disappeared. When he reappeared, he was before a whirlwind. Within the depths of the 5th cave in the celestial spirit heaven realm stood a wooden bridge. Under the bridge flowed black water. Sometimes, a hideous shadow would flash by in the water. There was a person sitting on the wooden bridge. It was impossible to see his appearance, but one could vaguely see that the figure was wearing a suit of armor. He was covered by a dense, black fog that was filled with devilish energy. The devilish energy was dense, as if this was a devil hell. His body was motionless and remained sitting. Before him floated a small bottle. The bottle was sealed by a cork, making it impossible to see what was inside. The person inside the black fog slowly opened his eyes. His eyes were filled with bloodlust, and he licked his lips. He spoke with a hoarse voice that sounded like friction between bones. Who will be the first one to come out? It has been many years since I tasted human flesh. This video will end here.